Hey, everybody. Josh Mills is back. Hi, Josh.
Hello, I am back. I've been asked back.
And due to unforeseen circumstances, we're a little late on the Christmas, but this is going to be a very late Christmas episode.
Yeah, and, it's Christmas in January.
Yeah,
we're good. That's good.
That's fine. I mean, it came out a month early, and the podcast will come out a month late, so...
And I appreciate you...
0 cents.
Well, and I appreciate you having me back. Anybody that wants to hear me talk, it's very appreciated.
Adam Storm could not make it this week, in case anybody's curious, because he does normally come on because he's obsessed. But he probably won't mind me saying he's at a Settlers of Catan rally of some kind, because he's a big fat nerd. Love you, Adam. So I'm looking at this. First of all, this is a picture disc. This is a Percy Dovetonsils Chrithmath. You have to say it that way.
Yes, you do.
It was a limited run. I'm very lucky to have this in my hands. Black Friday album. Oh, it's ridiculously funny, but it also looks really nice too. So, were these uncovered, or were these just stuff you just found while going through for the other album?
It was essentially it was stuff that we listened to going through the album that Omnivore put out.
Mm-hmm.
They put it out this time as well, and realized that there was so much Christmas stuff that maybe there was something else that we could use down the line. So they kind of pulled those tracks off, and we just decided that it would be great for Black Friday. Record store day is November.
Yeah.
So it's the first shopping day for Christmas. It just seemed like it all kind of could fit, and we only did 1,000, and they're all gone. And you can find some on eBay for crazy prices.
Right.
But,
well, then I'm luckier than I realized.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It looks so good. Who did the art? Actually, I didn't look.
There's a guy at Omnivore named Greg Allen who really put a lot of time and work into that and the other stuff, and that's one of the reasons why I love Omnivore is they really, it's all up digitally and you can, get that stuff, but they really believe in the physical product and making it look good, and it's not, there to just sort of, exist.
Yeah.
They really actually spent some time on it, and, he kind of took a picture we had and turned it into a Christmas theme, and Greg's great. He's really awesome.
Did they do other comedy stuff? Did they do a lot of other comedy?
I don't believe so. They have done recently some more rock and roll, like Camper Van Beethoven reissues, and they're doing some Dream Syndicate and things like that. They got a Bob Mould record, but I wouldn't be surprised down the line if there was some, stuff that... Cheryl, the woman who runs it, is... sorry, the microphone is... Maybe that sounds a little better. She works with estates, but she also works with record labels, so it depends who kind of approaches her, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was something.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Your
okay.
microphone keeps drifting. I'm sorry. We can switch.
That's okay.
All right.
I'm okay.
So what was the vetting process like? I mean, you had to go through probably a ton of stuff, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Cheryl and a guy named Patrick Milligan went through the majority of the... essentially, just so... if you hadn't heard the other podcast, they're in the 1950s. This is from 1952 on a CBS show called Kovacs Unlimited. It doesn't exist in video. Okay. However, my mother, in her strange ways, Edie Adams, decided that she really needed to hear how she sang on the radio.
That's right.
So she had a company, which was a transcription company, come in and record audio only off the television airwaves.
It's crazy.
So, and I don't understand the technology, but evidently it's fairly good technology for the time. They are 60 years old at this point.
They sound great.
But they sound pretty great.
Yeah.
So when basically we transferred these from air checks to essentially CD just to listen to as almost reference stuff, we kind of went through and pulled the stuff we thought was the most interesting. So, there's stuff of my mom singing, love songs, which potentially could be a Valentine's Day record, or, other stuff that we could pull together. But it was really trying to find the good stuff to put as bonus tracks to the first Omnivore release, and then this.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And was it last year that you did the Christmas release of your mother's stuff? That was last year, right?
Yeah, sort of the same ideas.
Was it from these programs or from different stuff?
It was from those programs.
Oh, okay.
So they were all essentially we had them transferred, and I'm not a full-on technocrat or I'm more of a Luddite in a lot of ways, but essentially with these air checks, there's no point in just playing them to hear them. You have to kind of record them because the quality depreciates every time you play it.
Right.
So, so we kind of recorded all of them and then kind of went through everything. And it was, there's so many hours of audio that, it's a record of daily television from, the early 1950s. So
that's nuts.
You can't see it, but you can hear it.
Which makes me still more curious as to what Adam Storm has in his attic.
It's been a long time. I'm wondering when they're going to at least take a picture of it and show it to us.
I know. I've been asking everybody. I've been asking you call him an uncle-in-law? My uncle-in-law about it. He's a DJ, and he wants to see a picture too. He wants to know what the frig they are, because he actually knows a ton about the technology, and we were talking about, he's like, maybe they're wire recordings, even though wire recordings are garbage, but it's exactly that thing. You can play it, but you might as well record it because it'll fall apart.
Yeah, no matter how bad. And you can try to, clean it up a little bit later, but you just want to make sure that you don't play it too much, because after a while it's going to sound like, an old scratchy record. Mm-hmm. So you want to record it you want to record it every time you play it.
Yeah. Now, we've probably, and I apologize for this because we've talked about it a few times, but how early did you know about these recordings existing? Like, this is something your mom talked about? Like,
yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that in the 90s I kind of became aware of, because I couldn't really get my head around, and until you actually see an audio air check, you're kind of like, it's a record, or it's a big record, or what is it? And I had heard about all of them, and they existed, and sometime in, I would say 2005, my mom had them transferred, and they're not easy. It's not just like you call up, a transfer house and go like, hey, it's like, VHS to DVD conversion. It's not like that. So there was an older dude who had some great technology, and UCLA Film and Television Archive put them in touch, and she got them transferred, and that's really when I actually heard them.
Yeah,
I'd heard one or two, but I was sort of like, whatever. I was, more interested in Soundgarden or something. I don't know. Getting a job. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Did she? It might be too personal of a question, but were they very religious? Was your mother very religious? Was Ernie very religious that you know?
My mom was not religious, and Ernie, from what I've heard, wasn't particularly religious, although I guess he did, pray at night. I didn't, when he went before he went to sleep, that's what I've heard. But he wasn't, he wasn't the kind of person that was very practicing. I mean, the guy swore and drank and gambled and, all the things like that. But I think, there was, the christenings and things like that, more ritualistic things, the way they were. Yeah.
So Christmas in this, I mean, I know that was a thing you did, though. I mean, if you're an entertainer, you're expected to do that, even if you're Jewish. I mean, Barbra Streisand did a lot of Christmas songs.
There is a record that I worked as a publicist that was basically Jews singing Christmas songs, because they realized that, frankly, there was more money in it.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like a much bigger holiday than Hanukkah. So, everybody had I mean, when I grew up, I had a Christmas tree at my mom's, and I had, celebrated Hanukkah at my dad's. So, I had two separate weird, holidays.
But one's, I mean, obviously, it's just much easier to commercialize. I mean, this is, it's red and green. That's what you associate with Christmas, and
these are, if it was Hanukkah stuff that he was doing, we would have put out a Hanukkah record.
Exactly. It's and it's really, I mean, like, it's so funny, because it seems like it would be, I mean, it's sort of one track, like, comedically, because he's just doing the same fucking character, but it's so funny every time, and I just love listening to him crack up, though, on the ones that sound a little more live. Was there one here where new music was put in, or is it just really clear sounding?
There's one track that's off of the other record, the first Percy record. So,
right.
Yes, Ben Modell did some music, and he compiled that release. And we did put some new music on that one because it was literally just the bare audio. There was nothing else. But for this one, there's one previously released track and 5 tracks that were unreleased, and that's from exactly the era. And you're absolutely right. My favorite thing is, and I think Kovacs loved making the audience, or the crew, excuse me, not the audience. He loved making the crew laugh. So if he made them laugh, he felt like, okay, I've actually got something going here. And he kind of, plays around with them a bit on this record.
On Tuesday night, just after Rudy Kazootie, I went upstairs feeling so low and so moody. I put on my chartreuse pajamas with the all-seersucker seat, pulled down the organdy bedspread feeling low and simply beat. I crept beneath the covers feeling old and rather worn, and slept like a baby till low it was morn. My baby blue Big Ben went off then with a resounding ring, and I jumped up, grappling madly with a loose pajama string. I sped to the window and looked down below and gasped in surprise at the big pile of snow. The flakes were still falling so fast and so withy. One struck my widow's peak and left me fairly dizzy.
And it's funny, too, for a guy who's as experimental and groundbreaking as he was, that he'd be perfectly willing to, not care that much about the fourth wall, even when he's doing a bit that's not experimental,
Well, again, I really do believe that his whole take on television was unlike Milton Berle or Sid Caesar or anybody else, who was basically trying to create, an environment for you to watch television. I think Ernie's attitude was more, I know that I'm here performing for you, and I'm here performing for you, so let's just forget the BS and let's talk about the fact that I am performing here for you.
Yes.
So I think he really took that to heart. He really kind of just, not just breaking down the fourth wall, but also consistently sort of saying this is all a joke. This is fantasy.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of freaked people out a bit because, they weren't used to television, and then to have someone go, well, let's talk about television? I don't understand.
Right. Yeah.
It's a bizarre concept even now, but in 1952 it would have been really bizarre.
It's always the first person to get meta about a medium that seems to at least stick in some people's minds, even though, again, I don't feel like he's taught enough in media school.
Agreed.
Again, I didn't take TV classes. I took film classes, but you would think at least somebody would have given me a hint that there's this guy out there that you should look into.
Yeah, I mean, I was a mass comm major, and I had, teachers, if I mentioned, they would say, oh yeah, Ernie, or that's really great, or whatever, but it's weird to think that, even if you're learning about, George Méliès, or you're learning about something really early, or Bruce Conner, or any experimental film, or anything like that, that no one kind of goes, well, there's this other guy who didn't make films per se, but he made these very bizarre video television, know.
Pre-psychedelic stuff.
Yes.
But that was very psychedelic and out of its mind.
It's like the 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, because it's seeing that movie and to think that was before, I don't know, acid.
Right.
Is almost just like, it's a 50s version of acid, before we knew what it was. Yeah. And it's so trippy. And Ernie's very strange in that way, too.
I just want to know what his mind was like, what his brain was like. Because it's so funny, too, and I think we've talked about this before, because, again, if you were to look at, maybe your mother's history in the industry, she's a very, straight-laced, beautiful, singer, funny lady.
Yeah.
But, clearly there's some spark in her brain that was attracted to that weird son of a gun.
Yeah. I mean, she had a very traditional Presbyterian, white, lime jello kind of existence. And I think that when she could get away from her mother, who evidently was a very good singer herself in church.
Right.
Her father was always the one that kind of pushed her and said, you can do other things. You don't just have to be, what your mom wants you to be or what I want you to be. You can do other stuff. But when she finally had a moment to kind of, go to Juilliard and meet arty people or whatever, she just kind of went like, oh, I like him.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. That guy's great. So, yeah, she definitely loved him.
Don't drink people's water.
Oh, my goodness.
We have animals in the studio, as usual, and they're trying to drink Josh's water.
It's terrible.
It's funny, because I was also thinking about this the other day, is I finally got to watch the pilot with him and Buster Keaton, and my thought is, what might have happened to him if that had been accepted and gone through and been a successful show? I doubt it, because it's so friggin' weird.
It is, like, yeah,
conceptually. But would that have made him? I don't know. Would he have stopped being experimental? Would he have cared? I don't know.
I mean, I have a feeling that the two of them probably would have tried to push the envelope as much as they could
on the same show.
Yeah. Because, I mean, in a sense, Ernie was like a Chaplin or a Keaton or, a silent... You could equate him in many ways to silent film or things like that. And I think they both obviously had certainly Keaton, but I think Ernie had a love of silent film. Because he did that show Silence Please, which was, recorded out of his den. But I think that they would have tried to push it. But again, I think Ernie just, in some ways, wanted to be conventional and make the money conventional comedians made, but I don't think he really wanted to. I just saw an ad someone posted on Facebook the other day of this thing he did. It was all his roles that he had played in movies, and he was always a captain in 5 movies. And at the bottom, this was an ad in Variety. It said, "No more effing captains." Basically, just like, almost like funny, but also sort of saying, like, I can do other things. Yeah. I don't want to keep playing the same role again and again and again.
That's ballsy. All get out.
Yeah. Because people saw him a certain way, and that's how they saw him, and he was wanting to do other things. So,
but it's so interesting because most people don't care how successful you are; will just keep doing it.
Yeah,
they're not going to like. That's clearly like a restless artist's mind.
Well, the one of the things that Ben Modell sort of kind of pieced together when we were putting together the first Ernie Kovacs DVD set for Shout Factory was that there was a CBC Canadian television interview with him where he talks about what he wants to do. And what they were talking about doing was making a Eugene movie, which was his silent character, with Alec Guinness, because they had just made, or recently made, Our Man in Havana.
Okay.
And that Alec Guinness was going to play Eugene and Ernie was going to direct, and they were trying to find the studio and put the script together. And it's just sort of like, just a what if, like, what if Alec Guinness had made this movie? Would he have, like, he and Ernie loved each other, they were great friends.
That's so weird.
I know.
That really blows my mind.
Yeah. I memean, two people who, seriously demented in many good ways, but I just, that would have been a fabulous movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And just that he would, again, he was as experimental as he was, but then he can where did I put it? But I just wonder, I want to know what in his mind possessed him to put these fake eyeballs in, put on the glasses, do this goofy voice, and just keep doing it. And almost, is he testing people? Is he testing himself? Because it's so weird. It is so weird. I'll bet people were annoyed by the character.
Well, the rumor was that, I think it was Bobby Lauer, it could have been somebody else, but in his earlier shows in Philadelphia that, he had no budget, so they would bring props or whatever they had at home, or they go like a $10 weekly prop budget, and they would go, and he brought the glasses, and Ernie just sort of put them on, and it became, and it's funny because you can hear it from the earlier episodes to the early 60s how he's perfected Percy, because it starts out as just one way, but then it becomes a little bit more solidified, and it's almost like a comedian, learning a routine and trying to hone it and keep getting better. But it's funny, some people don't find it very politically correct now.
Right.
I still think it's really funny.
Yeah.
And I think that his take on it is more, it's not mean. It's very silly.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, Percy is probably the nicest person you'd ever meet. So that's the takeaway from it.
It's not judgmental in any way. So I mean, that's I don't know. It's not the it's not like it's the equivalent of blackface or something.
Right.
It's a voice.
Right.
It's a voice. He obviously hints at his gayness.
Right.
But at no point does he judge that. That's where you draw the line. You're
right.
not going to judge if you're going to break it down like that. It's just odd to me. It doesn't seem to me to even fit in with the other stuff he does in some weird way. Percy,
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet it is like, it's obviously like people still, it's good enough to put on a couple records, people still want it.
Well, and it was funny because he really, it was a very popular character. In fact, so much so that's why he recorded this record or the audio. It was going to be a record that never came out.
Yeah.
He had so many people, and even now when I have a screening of something or when we show something, there's a big sort of ooh or ah when he comes on the screen. Like, people really respond to that character, and it's like the same with the Nairobi Trio or something like that. But I mean, the glasses, the whatever, are just as bizarre to me as the Nairobi Trio, which is, I mean, that's surrealist. That's so bizarre. That's the strangest thing. So.
Were there any, that you know of, any projects that didn't get made as far as stuff he and your mother wanted to do together? I don't know if we've talked about that.
Well, I've never found, like, hard evidence, but there is a lot of speculation that Ernie was supposed to play the Sid Caesar role in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Really?
And if you go on the Mad World, there's a Facebook group, all good people who are totally into the movie. They kind of speculate and talk about and, whatever. The funny thing is that my mom and Sid had known each other for a very long time and were very comfortable with each other and liked each other a lot. And they'd worked together in many things prior and things after. So it wasn't a stretch to think that Ernie wouldn't be in the movie, but there was sort of talk like, wouldn't it be cool if I think, Ernie was in that movie?
The night before Chrithmath on the east side. 'Twas the night before Chrithmath, and all through the duplex, just a valet with pressing, a Glen plaid with few checks. The mesh nylons were hung by the chimney with care. COD from Helene, the bill was a bear. The boys home from prep school were all snug in their beds, while visions of Maryland danced in their heads. And Mater in her Bergdorf and I in my sack lay in Louis XIV with its genuine cracks. When up on the penthouse there arose such a clatter, I summoned the butler to see what was the matter. He ran through the room in a 40-yard dash and pulled the Venetians I'd bought with cold cash. The moon on the sidewalks of chic Sutton Place gave the color of liver to the old doorman's face.
Wow.
I know.
He could carry it just as well as anybody. That's interesting to me. I was actually just speaking to Stan Freeberg's wife the other day about, because I guess they did a thing at the ArcLight. Were you at that?
I wasn't, actually.
Oh, okay.
I've seen that movie so
many times. I bet.
And it's a long movie.
Yes,
so
it is. Yeah. It tests
I love it, but
the modern audience
yes.
a little bit. It tests me sometimes.
Yes.
But I still love it.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. No, it is great. I don't know why they tried to remake it.
Yeah,
in the early 2000s. Still not sure what that was all about.
I just saw something that 2000. If you go on IMDb, 2015, there's a sequel planned.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I don't know what that means or not.
Oh my. What the
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? If Sid Caesar's back holds out, whatever, maybe he could still come back.
Exactly.
That man is sticking with it.
He is sticking with it.
Man, I want him on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many people who are just, like I tried for Larry Storch the other day, but he's in New York. There's some people who you don't hear from, and it would be great.
I think Shecky Green. You got to go for
I tried
Shecky
Green.
Green
The other day.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he lives in state, and he's not interested.
Oh.
Sorry, Shecky, but I did try.
He is very funny.
Thank you for your consideration, Mr. Green. But yeah, no, I agree. There's just some people, that I would love to have on. That
Absolutely.
nobody talks to anymore.
I know.
Like Rusty Warren, and yes, I promise that episode is coming out soon.
Yay.
And I don't think we've talked about too much about, we know he was a broadcaster early on, and he was doing, sort of traditional broadcasting.
Yeah. As much as Ernie could do traditional.
Right,
yeah.
right. Artistically, did he ever do anything like stand-up or comedy, like traditional comedy?
No. And that's the crazy thing about Ernie, is that he was famous for saying, like, I don't know how to tell a joke. Like, I cannot tell a joke. I couldn't stand in front of an audience and, do... set up punchline. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's what... maybe it had to have been his writing, which he did write for the Trentonian, which was the local Trenton newspaper, and then he kind of moved into radio. So he was like a local celebrity first.
Yeah.
And being on radio must have sort of sparked something, because he did really wacky
Sure.
things on radio.
Sure.
So, but the crazy thing, and I think I said it last time I was on, was that Joel Hodgson always said to me, like, I just don't know how he knew this would work. Like, there was no precedent to go, well, you know, television was so brand new that there was nothing to look back on, and how he just sort of went like, yeah, I could see this happening.
Right.
This totally makes sense, and no way of actually... It could have fallen so flat in its face, and he never would have had a career.
And that's one very good reason to argue why more people should know about him, because that's exactly what Orson Welles did when he was making Citizen Kane. I mean, he hired people. He said, hey, is it possible to do this? He had no idea.
Right.
And he would just try it, and they would figure out a way to do it for him.
Right.
It's on a much smaller scale. You know, he probably, I wouldn't be surprised if he was handling the cameras themselves.
Right.
Outside of, you know, union rules or whatever. But, you know, it just seems like one of those things where, like, well, can we point this here, and, you know.
Well, my mom would say when they were in Philadelphia, they were on for, I think, an hour and a half. I mean, they were on for a really long time, every day, 5 days a week. And, you know, Ernie, they had to kill time.
Yeah.
So one of the things they would do is they would put a record on, and they would put a kaleidoscope at the end of a camera, and just have someone sit there, because they just needed 5 minutes to just decompress or get ready for the next sketch. Or
Holy shit.
But the other thing was, my mom, I mean, this is how loose the rules were. Nobody thought about this. A cameraman or a sound guy would go like, I gotta pee. And so my mom would have to, you know, walk around and hold the camera, and like, the thought of, you know, IATSE allowing that to happen now is not even, you couldn't, no.
Oh my God.
So, but she was like, that was what, you know, she would say, you know, we would kill time. And I can't even imagine the thought of killing time on television in 2014.
Right.
It just, like, it was so new that that's the only way it could have gotten done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So clearly she's there as part of it. I mean, did she have, like, what kind of input did she have on his stuff? Or was it very much like, no, this is my vision?
He definitely, you know, had that vision, and he definitely said this was my stuff. However, there were plenty of times where someone would, like with the glasses for Percy, bring something in, or here, you know, and he would kind of just incorporate it or bring it in, and then it would become something. My mom always said that she was more like an editor.
Okay.
Ernie would kind of throw out an idea or have some sort of, like, you know, thought about something, and she would kind of go, I don't know about that, if you want to push it in this direction or go that way.
Okay.
Because Ernie was very much, you know, there were times where I think he was doing like 20 hours a week on radio and television. I mean, he was doing so much that that's why I think you find some stuff being recycled here and there, is because he really just couldn't think up more stuff. I mean, he was on radio, I think ABC in New York, and then he was doing television, and I think my mom was just sort of at some point going, you know, Ernie, you know, this works, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
But, you know, as much as Ernie would let anyone do that, I think.
Right. Not to just keep concentrating on your mom,
no.
But what did she think of Percy? Like, did she have a favorite creation of his?
Well, she was in the Nairobi Trio, so I think she enjoyed that. Yeah. And she really, my mom was such a, you know, student of music and art that, you know, she would always say, it seems very simple, but it's actually very complex. I mean, you have to know timing, and you have to be really good, you know, with the smashing of the, you know, whatever on the head of the gorilla. And also, you know, tapping someone on the shoulder, and it's a very complex, you have to really know timing. So that's why she was such a fan of it, is that she really felt like there was a lot more than people just going like, you know, what is this monkey costume, and like she felt like there was something in that. That, you know, was pretty, you know, hidden and deep down, and
that's kind of an interesting thing too, because a lot of comedians, you know, if you talk to them, you know, everybody knows that comedy's at least partially about timing. Big thing. Ernie Kovacs clearly needed to be with a musician to have some timing, because if he says he can't tell a joke, and he's got somebody who's got this other instinct that he maybe didn't have. I mean, if you listen to this, I mean, he could do the rhythm of a poem. You know, he could do that. That's fine. Yeah. But it's like, you know, it's not punchline driven. It's just it's through line driven. It's just like, here's a thing. He's layered the East Side of New York on top of the New, you know, the night before Christmas. So it's I wonder if that in any way played a part in why he was received well.
Well, again, and I listened to this record again before I came over here, and I am still always shocked at how relaxed he is. It's I mean, I think I'm more, energetic than he is, just doing a podcast. But he had to write the show. He performed in it. He, came up with the characters, the concept. And he is just so calm and cool and not worried about time. And that's why I think it's almost surreal in a lot of ways, is that, it's not like he is any rush to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And it kind of lets the joke come or not. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there's an or not.
Right.
So I really think that his genius was, the extemporaneous or experimental stuff that he was doing, but also just sort of like, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
And also saying things like, this is my idea, crew, make it happen.
Yeah.
And them going, well, we can't do that. And he goes, no, you can do it. And then they would come up with, whether it was literally building a set or an item on a set, or the editing, which was so primitive in 1960 or 62 or 61 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that was his genius, was really just going like, make it happen and we'll have a good show.
Right. Is there, so again, I don't know enough about the history, and I remember talking to Adam, and when he found out that pilot was going to be on the DVD, he freaked out, because he's like, I didn't think that existed anywhere.
Yeah.
Are there some other sort of legendary things that you're still trying to find that I maybe don't know about?
Well, maybe they're in Adam's family's garage or attic. Ben always jokes that there's somewhere in a barn somewhere, but there was I think it was, I don't know if it was person to person, but there's an interview that happened with Ernie. It was with David Susskind in New York.
Okay.
So it was Ernie, Rod Serling.
Oh, you mentioned this. Yes.
And, the great director, I can't remember his name. I'll think of it in a minute. Mm-hmm. And it happened, but I don't think anybody's ever seen it. And it's like, if you could find that, just the thought of like Ernie and Rod Serling, Sheldon Leonard.
Okay,
Sheldon Leonard.
Shit.
Yeah. The smoke, I don't know how you actually could handle sitting on the set.
Right.
But just to hear like a concept and hearing what someone else had to say about that, or bringing up something, just sounds amazing.
Did they know each other, Serling and Ernie?
I believe in a very cursory kind of way they knew each other. Hollywood, all the kids, they know.
Yes, of course.
But I don't think they hung out very much. But I think that, I think Ernie was a fan, and I think that, their sensibilities and, all those things really connected.
Definitely.
To hear Ernie and Rod Serling talk about, sci-fi or horror or, would be amazing.
Oh, winter is almost nigh upon us these late autumnal days, and I see so many signs of it quite clear through autumn's haze. I've changed my walking stick from old bamboo to traditional malacca, and I see where Brooks Brothers are lining waistcoat pockets of soft but firm alpaca. Soon the snowplow, the earmuff, the cashmere blankets for buggies will say that winter is here, and on with those monogrammed snuggies. No, off in the rural climes, Dame Nature salutes us with a glamour. And in the city, the apartment dweller will strike his radiator with his hammer. And long and clear will the hammer blows descend to the basement there, where croucheth the janitor, sound asleep, warm in his cozy lair.
Do you have a favorite track off of this? I was going to ask you that next.
I kind of like the I enjoy the fact that there's a New Year's Eve one on there.
Oh, yeah.
But I do like the Fashionable East Side one, because it's just so about consumerism and, rich versus poor, and, kind of making jokes about how difficult it is to be on the Fashionable East Side. And I kind of enjoy that one. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always tends to work for me, even if somebody did end up being a very successful person, if they're still willing to play with class a little bit.
Yeah.
It's always funny.
Yeah.
And he came from pretty hard Scrabble upbringing. So, he earned it. Is there anything else sort of in the pipeline that we can talk about, or no?
Well, there are still a lot of shows to go through, and it's kind of expensive to transfer all of them. So, and when you, like I said, when you actually have to play it, you should record it, and then you should do it. I think digitizing that would be smart on my end. But again, it's sort of like, we just did my mom's DVD collection, and one of the reasons I did it was because I wanted to make sure it was digitized. Yeah. And now I have it on a hard drive, and there's another hard drive somewhere else, and, just want to make sure that, these are... My mom's shows are from 1962 to 64, and they're all on videotape from the early 1960s, and who knows how long those are going to last. So the great thing about these transcription discs is that they're not going to deteriorate unless they get broken. Right. But they should just be preserved, and that's a bit of a next step. Yeah. That's a purely, I think, a preservation thing, and if something comes out of it, it would be great to kind of put another record out, or we've talked about, always the issue with this stuff is licensing music and making sure that the people are getting paid. So we could put stuff out, but it would be without music, and I'm kind of more of a completist, and I kind of like to make sure that you have the actual and not to go on too much about my mom's DVD set, but one of the things that we wanted to make sure was on there was her Muriel Cigar commercials. And that'll never be shown on television. Right. In fact, when we went to iTunes to see if they wanted to put it out, they said, well, you have to take out all the commercials because they're all cigar commercials. Wow. It's all tobacco. Wow. So, I totally get it. Yeah. And at the same time, I also kind of go, it was 1962. And there was a certain artistic value in it. And
context is huge for this stuff.
So, but I'm more of a completist. I like to see it how it was intended or how it was broadcast or whatever. Yeah.
I wonder, and this is just completely out of nowhere, I sometimes try and corner people about this stuff. Okay. Like I'm like, I'll go to somebody, hey, you should do a play with this person where you both play these parts. I think I did that to James Urbaniak. Yes, James Urbaniak and Paul F. Tompkins should both do The Odd Couple. Now, he has insisted they should both be Felix, but you can find, I'm sure they can figure it out. Right. But I mean, is there anything in the works for, has his book been re-released ever? Because I want that and an audiobook are both it's what's in my head.
Yeah, and it's funny because we're definitely thinking about that. Yeah. It's one of those weird things where his book Zumar, and then he had a second book called How to Talk a Gin. Right. Yeah. We'd love to do it digitally, but I also kind of want to do it right. So it's either finding the right partner. And that also would include someone who actually wants to type it all, because there is no digital version of that. Yeah. But we have, all stuff in our archive that can really, augment it in some way. But those are his books are things that we're looking into. And, trying to see if there's more televisions. Really, if there's a network, where MeTV or Antenna or something like that would want to broadcast this stuff.
Really should.
Yeah.
It really should. If it wasn't for, as much as I don't really care for Nick at Night right now, if it wasn't for that growing up, I wouldn't know who Phil Silvers was. Right. I would have always known who Lucille Ball was, because that's everywhere constantly. But, there's some smaller stuff that I wouldn't have known about, specifically Phil Silvers. Yeah. It would have been nice to have seen this. So.
Yeah, in this fast-paced slam-bang world that we live in, it's weird to think that, there's not a place for Ernie on television in 2014. Right. And that's the case. Yeah. And it's sort of my job to figure out, is there a place for that, and who is that? It does strike me as odd that, when we put out the DVD in 2011, I believe, that really nobody reached out to us in any way, shape, or form to say, hey, this should be on something, or we should, and it's just kind of weird that we have such a short memory of, it's reality television, and it's so, of the moment, and social media, and I get it, Ernie was black and white, and, blah, 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 it's kind of weird, but it's sort of there's got to be someone that goes, no, there really needs to, this was good. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Sorry, I'm having a wonderful Amazing brain fart.
That's okay.
Sincere apologies. I was going somewhere with that whole thing. Give me one second. Yeah. Okay, so that was my question. As far as all the original transfers, again, it's going to be technical. It might bore some people. Feel free to mute it for a minute. But are they from old tapes or are they from kinescopes, like for his shows? Well, what are they? I'm just curious.
Ernie shows?
Yeah.
Some of them are kinescopes.
Okay.
We, in about 2009, we went to a place where we took a kinescope, a 3/4, and one other format, I think 1 inch. And we also have things on like 2 inch and, just ridiculous formats.
Yeah.
And we played them just at random. And the best one was a kinescope by far.
Yeah.
And it was almost a surprise, not to any of the archival guys that we were showing it to. They're like, of course.
Yeah.
But it was more that it was just not an issue. There wasn't, it wasn't just like a tape issue or this or that, but it just looked great. So we were super happy to find that.
Sound too? Is the sound all right on that?
Really
wow.
Good. Yeah. I mean, you have to clean on anything.
Sure.
Like I said, some of the stuff on the 10-inch record, the Ernie record, is, could sound better, but you have to clean all of it up, and it just depends how much money you have and how much time and how much whatever. And there's a certain point where it's just not going to come back.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the reason the Lucy stuff looks so great is because that's a cash cow.
Yeah.
And CBS can pour in as much money as they want because they're selling lunch boxes and they're selling, not just the show, but all the memorabilia that goes along with it.
Well, and did it ever have a period where it dropped off? Like, It's a Wonderful Life had to be rediscovered and remastered. Like, I don't think Lucy's ever been out of public awareness, so.
I mean, when I was a kid in the 70s, early 70s, I remember watching that. I remember that, the Marx Brothers, Three Stooges, and Speed Racer.
Yeah.
And the only one that's really around, on television is Lucy.
Yeah.
So I don't think it ever had a drop-off.
That's so weird to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's great. It's a wonderful thing. It's historically important, at least in terms of pop culture. But it's one of those things where, that's why we talk about these things. I'd like Ernie Kovacs to have more of a place in pop culture. Are you doing, I know every once in a while you do screenings and stuff about Ernie stuff or your mom's stuff. What's coming up?
You should ask. We just announced Friday that at the Cine Family that on February 4th they're going to have a Edie Adams tribute night.
Oh,
so we're going to screen
awesome.
The Apartment, and we're going to have clips from her show, and we're also going to have a moderator, so to speak, Ann Magnuson, who is a great actress and comedian and pop culture artist, and talk about my mom. And awesome. Allison Anders, the director, is a huge fan and kind of put this all together with me. So we're going to be doing something February 4th. So if you're in LA,
amazing,
love to have you out.
And that's a great place to go see anything. Frankly, so
they're great people.
Oh, that's so good.
And then in April, we'll have another event, which I can announce after February, but it'll be in Los Angeles at another museum. So we're going to have another event for Edie, and definitely will include Ernie's influence on her as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you.
And for talking more about Ernie. I know I tend to sidetrack with technical stuff. But,
I appreciate it. And like I said, anybody wants to listen and talk to me, I'm so thankful. So thank you.
Of course. Everybody, please. I mean, again, you're going to have to go on eBay. But get this. It's a Percy Dovetonsils Chrithmath. So be sure to search with the THs in there.
Yes.
And again, just check where's all the Ernie stuff. I mean, I know it's on Facebook. You have a Twitter too, right?
Yeah, I mean, start with ErnieKovacs.com because there also is a store up there where we have a lot of limited edition stuff and things that you will never see anywhere else. And then there's Facebook, which is Real Ernie Kovacs, and Twitter. So you'll find us. We're there. We're mining the social media. Yes.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
And everybody, thank you for listening. And as always, have a good thing. Comedy on Vinyl is a production of Stolen Dress Entertainment. It is produced by Mike Warden and is hosted and edited by Jason Klamm. Visit stolendress.com to listen to our other podcasts, to read our blogs, read our tweets, watch our videos, and read our books. Please subscribe on iTunes, rate us highly, and write your reviews. You can follow us on Facebook.com/ComedyOnVinyl and Twitter @ComedyOnVinyl.